And good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Hope you're all doing well. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to SnowTALK, the daily blog today. And moving along a little fast here today. It's going to be a fairly short update, but I want to get some key points out because, as I'll explain here in a second, we're going to go live. It'll be my first time, actually, going live on Twitch coming up in just a few moments. If you don't have Twitch, it's a free account to sign up for. Twitch TV. Twitch.tv is where you go, and I will give you my name and where to find me coming up because we're going to be decorating the weather office. It's myself, Tawana Andrew, and Jessica Dobson, and we got a short amount of time to try to get this done in the weather office, but I don't know if the signal's going to be good or not. But anyway, just want to let you guys know we'll have a little fun here on this Friday coming up in just a few moments. So I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for the comments so far. Let's get right into the setup and how we're going to get into next week here with few minor changes, nothing major. Now, the snowboard, I really haven't changed this much at all. I'm still going to keep the idea of a brief mix at play, but let me stress the brief nature of this and the non-impactful nature of this. So it would be Monday morning before sunrise. That would have to pass through for that to even happen. That's a big if. And also perhaps Wednesday evening, we could see another chance for a mix or even a couple of flurries to fly through. Otherwise, it's still all about the longer term and how the pattern evolves, the couple systems in the plains, whether or not the approach to allow for rain to snow setup or just rain, which is certainly possible. I still, within the range of the forecast we have now, we are still not into the flip to what is likely going to be a flip into a much colder scenario. That is not in the range yet. More on that coming up in just a second. Quick update outside. You guys know it's raining. The rain overall has kept temperatures on the cool side in the 40s now, but the southwest wind is going to ramp up today. So that is going to move our numbers back well into the 50s. It's going to get quite windy, especially between Louisville and Mammoth Cave, Columbia. Quite windy. Gusts could easily get up to about 35, 37 miles per hour this afternoon. My inflatable in my yard, I had it anchored down good. Not doing great last night, even with those gusty winds. So I had to turn it off and leave it off until we get past this windy pattern. So my anchoring's good. It's just my tethers keep breaking, like splitting right in the middle. So maybe it's just really bad stream. But anyway, hopefully you got your stuff anchored down pretty good. All right. So why did that map move? That was weird. In case you wanted, the temperature in Somerset's 46. Okay. The rain, once again, as it passed on by, did not produce the amounts that a lot of the modeling was showing. And that was a concern that started about 2 days ago. And it's a common theme. We were talking about this yesterday about how you're in a drought scenario. It's tough to get a system to have a lot of moisture in a drought scenario to actually perform the amounts. We cut down from what it was showing of near 1 inch to about a ½ inch, and we needed to cut it even more. Because it really just was not able to produce a lot of rainfall out of this. And it's mainly a drizzly scenario. Look at all the clouds. You can see the shadow too, which is really cool. This layer of clouds is above this layer, which is lower to the ground here. So it creates, because the sun angle, you get this black line, and that is the shadow from the sun casting from the higher clouds on the lower clouds down below. Very cool, right? But it tells you that the lower clouds on the other side of this are barely above the buildings in downtown Louisville, and that likely will be the case all day long today. Very drizzly type of scenario. Rainfall amounts officially in Louisville, a little more than 1/10 of an inch. Some spots got a quarter. Some of you got a little closer to maybe ½ inch. Kentucky ended up getting some higher totals versus Indiana, which was the flip too, and the storyline in the past 36 hours it was developing. Everyone got something. That's good, but we need more. We need more for sure. In the metro, I got actually, let me check right now because I was looking earlier. I am at 0.22 at my house in southern Jefferson County. We've got 0.22 in Fern Creek. 0.18 in Valley Station. So a tenth to maybe a quarter of an inch. That seems to be about the theme. But again, still about 50% of what the system really could have and should have really done for the area. But unfortunately, just in this kind of a drought scenario, it's just not able to hold on to the moisture levels. But we got something out of it. Now, here's the thing. This is a fairly elongated type of low pressure setup here. So here's the low. It's not really a complete circle as normal. It's very elongated across the Ohio Valley. So it's more of this kind of nature of the low pressure. So we're going to constantly deal with the southwest flow throughout the day today and tonight, keeping us mild. The thermometer is not going to move. Once we get in the 50s, it'll hold steady. The needle will just kind of hold there, 55, 57. It'll just kind of waver all the way through tonight. And then we'll get a little bit of a cooler pocket tomorrow. But then another wave will latch onto this because this is a stalled out system. It'll latch on and try to move in as we head into Saturday, into Sunday, while another low pressure will be moving across north. The question, of course, with both of these as they move through, will they shake hands for rain on Sunday? And I'm going to show you an update on that. So let's start with the Futurecast. Doesn't show the drizzle very well, but it will be around this afternoon. The roads will likely remain wet. And again, the wind is going to increase. The wind is going to increase today. So that's one thing you can keep an eye on as we head throughout the afternoon hours. Now, tomorrow, we'll have a chance for that low pressure to the south to scoot closer to Kentucky. Again, it's split initially. Right now, we don't see a huge amount of rain from that from Saturday, which is good. Now, Sunday is where there's a little bit more of a shaking of the hands that tries to happen, and we get some of that rain that tries to build in here on Sunday. But there is a bit of a gap. There could be a situation where Louisville and Frankfort may not get anything, but Indiana may, and then Southern Kentucky may get this area of rainfall. So the rain chance, we can't raise it very much here for the weekend at all because confidence is low on how much of the shaking of the hands there will be, the phasing of the two. And Louisville, of course, and Wave Country is kind of in that valley, that split. So there is a chance you may get 0 out of that type of setup as we head into Sunday. It will increase the wind again. In fact, temperatures will jump upward on Sunday, and then a big crash in temperature will happen into Sunday night. That is going to lead to a lot of wind once again for Sunday. Very windy. But here's where things get a little interesting. We drop, and you start to see the freezing line even showing up there into Illinois. We're going to drop as we head into Sunday and early on Monday. Actually, let me show you different. I showed you the wrong one. Sorry about that. Hold on one second. Let me show you this one. Because Sunday night, early Monday morning, there's a little pocket of moisture that moves in right over Kentucky. Euro's got it. GFS has got it as well. And some of the high res has seen it. The modeling, it's right there to the point where it would have a little bit of wintry weather involved in it. But the timing is shifting. If this little wave is more towards, say, 9 a.m. through 1 p.m. on Monday, it's going to be drizzle. If it's a little earlier than 8 a.m., it may have some snowflakes involved in it. But I do not see temperatures getting below freezing at the ground level, just above where it could generate into a snowflake and fall. Very minor. Look how small it is. All right. It moves on by. Boom, it's over. The second one that moves in does have much more colder weather with it. It really digs actually in the mid-Atlantic, but not as much moisture with it. So that's why there's still maybe a flurry chance with that. But no doubt Wednesday looks to be the colder day of the 10-day right now as it moves on by and may become a little more of a coastal low issue down the road. All right. So that's the minor setup for that. Now we get into the longer term. That is when we have a warming trend later next week into next Friday and Saturday. Still thinking 60 or so can be reached. But what happens with this system in the Southwest? Does it roll on out, or does it? We end up with two different systems. One in the Great Lakes that kind of digs because the flow still is fairly dominant, pulling systems in from Canada and kind of glancing by the northeast part of the country. The Euro wants to hold on to the system in the Southwest. Now, here's the problem. The Euro does have a tendency to hold on to systems like that in the Four Corners, doesn't want to let them go. So the GFS somewhat throws it out. The Canadian certainly throws it out, like forces it outward into the plains and heads our way as we get into next weekend. While the Euro's like, no, we'll hold on to this bad boy. That creates a traffic jam that makes the complex forecast into the extended. So let me show you. Here is, let me get rid of my name. Here is the GFS ensembles for the system. And it's hard to see, but this is all the different modeling ideas the GFS has that could happen for, say, Sunday into Monday. You got one that's got a rain to snow type of setup, one that cuts up, one that's nothing, light rain, light rain, light rain. There's a cut. There's a sort of a cut. Again, there's a couple that's dramatic, right? Again, that looks a little too dramatic. There are a few. But I really want to see all these squares fill in more with the idea of a low pressure moving into the Ohio Valley before confidence can go up. And right now, that confidence is not high. Let me show you the Euro idea, and it's a different looking map. It's the same idea, really, of different. If you look carefully, you can see the red L's where it thinks the low pressure will be. Well, it's got hints that there will be one, and this may be the same in the plains, or it could be a separate one, by the way, moving into Canada. But it puts a low pressure possibility into the Great Lakes, but it really wants to focus on trying to hold the energy back into this southern United States. So what does that tell us? Well, a couple things. If it rolls out, we'll end up with a faster wave of rain that could go over to some snow next Sunday and Monday, roughly in that time period. If the Euro is right and it holds on to the energy, we're only going to get a few light rain showers and it'll stay mild. We're not going to see a lot of cold air until it rolls on out, and that may take another 4 to 5 additional days for that to happen. Well, that's a bummer. We don't want that, right? So a lot of low confidence in the extended, but I still think it's right now with the teleconnections the way they are, there's at least an opportunity to get rain to snow, but I do not see all snow. I think the warm air is going to be still a problem until we get what we call the EPO to go a little more negative, which is forecast to happen down the road. It doesn't really happen in the next week, so that's the reason why it's going to be really tough to get this to really be anything more dramatic. But looking down the road, the GFS especially, there's that flip to try to get some of the polar vortex into the central and northern part here of North America with a very strong ridge all the way into the Aleutian Islands and parts of Siberia. What is interesting about this is this flip to cold, if it were to indeed flip. And again, the data on that is not solid, but it would be, I got to stress, it would completely change every winter forecast I've seen so far. It would change it. And we just don't know exactly the date it would change, but it would be soon. So snow lovers, there's at least something here we're tracking. This is quite a unique pattern that is showing up. It has taken on the look of a pattern flip to cold that typically happens with this type of setup with El Nino. But we need a little more data to back it up before we can jump on that idea. I'm not ready to jump on it yet, but maybe soon. We'll let this cook in the oven a little longer over the weekend. And when I see you guys on Monday, we'll decipher it much more than that. All right, fair enough. I don't want to get too heavy. I got really heavy yesterday on stuff. I want to be kind of light today. Just enjoy the weekend, and we'll handle all the long-term stuff for next week. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and jump on Twitch. We're going to try to do this. Twitch.tv. Again, if you sign up for the account, we're going to go live and decorate the weather, obviously, if you want to watch. And again, I hope the signal is working. If it's not, I apologize. But here is my name to look me up on there, and give me a few moments to get back in the weather office, and I will be live at that point. So look it up on there. Don't make fun of my name. Or my pictures. Don't make fun of me. And we'll see how this goes. All right, fair enough. If you again, it's free to watch on there. If you do have a Prime account, Amazon Prime account, I think you can avoid ads and stuff like that. But some of you are really good on Twitch. Some of you are brand new to it. But it's really cool. Really fun chat system onto it. All right, I'm going to shut up. So we got to get into the weather office and get this set up for you guys. All right. I hope you join us in the next few minutes. If not, well, I want you guys to have a good weekend. I'll be on for midday, 3 o'clock. More updates on the weekend and the little small system there on Monday morning. Let's let the midday data roll in. And yeah, snow lovers, there's still a lot to be hopeful for in the extended. So be patient. This is going to require a lot of patience as always. I will see you guys soon. Take care.